Hello everyone, welcome back to Which is the Moon, Season 11, Week 12. This week we are talking about a how-to series. Now, the funny coincidence to this, and I didn't want to say anything, was that my how-to for this week was how to make magical inks, which is something that Nimbus River talked about a couple of weeks ago when he was talking about wildcrafting. He was talking about how he uses some materials to make magical inks. So for those of you, I didn't get to finish watching his entire video, so I don't know if he actually talked about the process of making magical ink, but that's what this how-to video is going to be about. Now, for those of you that are interested and are wondering why I'm wearing the same shirt I was in the last video, I am actually recording several videos in the same day. This is my day off, and so I'm trying to get in some videos while I can because we've got Labor Day weekend coming up and I have a lot of stuff going on and I need to catch up on some stuff. And right now Harold's in bed with a headache. It's storming outside, so you may hear rumbles of thunder. Right now there's a lot of sirens going on. I'm not sure what that's all about. I hope lightning didn't hit something. We've had a lot of lightning and a lot of thunder, so I thought this would be the perfect day to do several videos. So my topic for this week on the how-to series is how to make magical inks. And I'm actually kind of mad at myself because the inks I created for myself are not here in my home. They are at my office in my herb cabinet. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the process of making magical inks, and I'm going to give you a link in the down bar to my video that I did several years ago about this very topic. But this is a great topic, and since it seemed to generate a lot of interest on Nimbus's video, I thought I would talk about the process of doing that. Okay. When making magical inks, why would you do that, right? Well, clearly because your ink is going to be infused with your intent, your purpose, and what have you. So the first step to making a magical ink is deciding what is going to be the purpose of the ink. Color correspondences obviously are important. Now, magical inks, I'm going to tell you, are not typically as bright and beautiful as store-bought inks that you might buy, and they are best used with a dip pen. This is my dip pen. I have this one. This is my one for the house. It actually has a little thing that you set the pen on to keep the ink from dripping everywhere. You just dip it in there and it's spiraled, so the ink goes up the spiral and you write with it. Now, this one comes with a rinse jar and several different inks. There's pink, blue, purple, and green in here. Now, these are not magical inks, although I do use them in my spellcraft quite a bit. They're not technically magical inks because, as far as I know, they weren't created for any magical purpose. But this is my pen kit. I got it, I think, for like $5. And the pen is beautifully crafted. Now, I do have a couple of magical inks here that I'm going to show you that I actually bought at Scarborough Fair. There's a gentleman who lives in my area that makes magical inks. This is Dragon's Blood ink. Now, his ink does have a really beautiful red color. And then this is Unicorn Blood ink. It's kind of pink and silvery. So you have to shake it. He's got a little thing in there, and as you can see, they're sealed. I've not used either of these inks yet. And he does say no unicorns were harmed in the making of this ink. So going on last week's video about not harming an animal, dang, of course. Never mind. It was a joke. Anyway, so when you are making magical ink, you're going to need 3 ingredients. You're going to need something to put it in. Yeah, I find small jars like this really ideal. You can pick up these little glass jars if you have a drug emporium near you. You can use that. You can use old essential oil jars, things like that. You're going to need whatever you're going to use to make your ink. In this case, I have Dragon's Blood here. You can use pretty much anything. I have some black Hawaiian salt that might make a lovely black ink. When it comes to making a magical ink, I have at my office, and I'm really mad at myself. I show it in the other video, but I have a pokeberry ink that I made from pokeberries. Pokeberries grow wild around here, and they're very distinguishable. They make a beautiful red dye, and they make a wonderful red ink. They are poisonous. I will say that again. Pokeberries are poisonous. So when you are handling them, you want to use gloves. And don't mix this in anything that you would be putting anything you plan to consume into. However, you can make inks from just about anything. You can make blue ink from blueberry juice. You can make purple ink from like blackberries or raspberries. You can make red ink from strawberries. You can buy them crushed up. Now, here's the deal. One of the things that I found recently that's very useful as a tip for making magical inks is if you can buy freeze-dried fruit, you can crush it up. I also use it in my lipsticks and stuff, in my lip balms that I make. You can utilize that for ink. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to put, I'm sorry, I have something bugging me today. You're going to put the other ingredient, you're going to need alcohol. I don't know that I would use rubbing alcohol. My choice for my magical inks is cheap ass vodka. Seems to work really well, but you want a high proof. You want a high alcohol content, but not necessarily to the level of like rubbing alcohol. I guess you could use rubbing alcohol. I don't know how that would affect the breakdown of the juice. That's my thing. You want something that's going to blend well with the juice and not, tear it up. But I think rubbing alcohol might be just a little bit too high of a content. So about 80, 90 proof, 100 proof, that kind of thing. So moonshine, vodka, something of that nature. My go-to is vodka. So what you're going to do is you're going to fill up your jar with however much of the juice that you want to use. Clearly, the more juice you use, the deeper the color of the ink. So you're going to you can buy the juice. Like if you want to go and buy grape juice to make purple ink, you could do that. If you wanted to just crush up the berries yourself and use the juice, I find that's the best method. You may want to pick out the seeds. When it comes to the pokeberries, I don't pick the seeds out. Now you will need to shake these inks. They're going to need to be mixed really well. So you're going to have to shake them periodically and shake them before you use them. But essentially you're going to put in maybe about 2/3 of the juice or whatever it is you want to use, and then fill up the rest of the way with the vodka or the alcohol of choice. You're going to shake it really good, and you're going to let it sit. That's how you make magical ink. Then you just dip your pen into your ink of choice that you have made, and you write out whatever it is you're going to write. You can use it to write in your grimoire, you can use it to write sigils for spells, you can use it to write out words for spellcraft. But magical inks are very useful because, again, they're infused with your energy, which is the key number one thing. It's something you've created yourself. So all of your intent is imbued into that. I find color correspondence is useful when choosing what materials I'm going to make. So, for example, for me, I associate the color blue with peace and healing. So I will use blueberry ink for blueberries for an ink like that. I find that purple is good for things of a high spiritual nature or in general, because purple is, in my opinion, a very magical color. It's my favorite color. I will use pokeberries for red. I will now that ink I will use primarily for like poisoning relationships, putting an end to things, because pokeberries are poisonous, and so I find them useful for that. But red is a color I associate also with passion, so I may use it for that. I always make sure to speak my intent so that nothing is confused in the way that I use it. I have found that using freeze-dried raspberries or strawberries make a nice pink or red ink, so you can mix some of those in and they dissolve pretty quickly, especially if you kind of crush them up really good into a powder. You can add that into your alcohol and it will make an ink, or you can reconstitute it with some water. I crush it up because, like I said, I also use it in my lip balms and in my blushes and things like that. But you can crush it up and add it to some existing juice just to give it that little extra oomph and carry the essence of that fruit, so then you can just dip. And that's really all that there is to making a magical ink. You select your materials, you select the alcohol you're going to use, make sure you get a nice jar to put it in. Some people like to seal them afterwards, with some sort of wax or resin just to kind of hold that essence in there. I will tell you that if you use a jar like this that's got a cork lid, you may not want to do that. you're going to want a lid that screws on or that you can seal off with wax. If you do use this, you're going to need to seal it with wax, because I will tell you that the alcohol evaporates. As it evaporates, the cork is porous, so it will collect, and you'll find that you get kind of a gooey, gummy resin around it. And especially with the pokeberries, some of the actual juice, I mean, you could smell it and see it, because pokeberries have pungent odor. So you might want to use something that's got an actual lid on it. You'll notice that these have little screw tops, and so something like that might be a better choice. Or you might want to put some sort of a stopper, like a plastic stopper in there, or even a piece of like saran wrap or wax paper over it, then put the stopper in there just to give it a little bit of extra something. But that's really all that there is to making a magical ink. Select your materials, your tint, color correspondences, however much juice you want. Leave enough room for some of the alcohol. Bear in mind that the alcohol will evaporate out, and you may need to shake it to mix it up before you use it. So have fun exploring and take care with that. Just if you use anything toxic, make sure that you use gloves when making the ink, and when using the ink, I would recommend it. Make sure you wash your hands thoroughly before and after either way, and have fun creating your magical inks. Blessed be.